Now, from your freshman year to your senior year, how much did your game actually evolve and improve at Colorado?
Quite a bit.
Okay.
So when we started playing, I mean, Colorado's in the Pac-12, which is one of the competitive conferences. And if you want to get better, you got to play with the best. That's what they would say. So I remember, you know, at the end of my freshman year, I would see people getting these awards like, what is All-American? What is honorable mention? What are all these things? And I remember them getting awards at the end of the year, and I was like, I'm going to do that. That was one of my goals that I set by the time, you know, I got into my senior year. I was like, I'm going to get All-American. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And, you know, obviously increase your ranking because you could get into bigger tournaments like the Arnold Palmer Invitational or recently, I mean, this happened after I graduated, but now they have that Augusta tournament, right? For the top amateurs. If they had that when I was there, I could have been playing, but oh well, it's fine. But yeah, I think I didn't really start to piece everything together until my junior year. I think freshman and sophomore, it was decent and I was still kind of like figuring everything out. And so I started to work with the college coaches. One of the things that I struggled with is I was still working with my coach back in Hawaii and with the college coaches. So sometimes I would have, you know, kind of two people, we're all trying to get to the same goal, but we have different ways of getting there. And so as a player, at times I got a little confused and I'm like, oh, like which one should I follow more and that kind of thing. And then so eventually sophomore year, when I decided to, you know, say to my coach here, like, this is getting a little too difficult. I think it's time to move on. You know, thank you very much for everything that you've done. And then I focused on working with just my Colorado coaches. I think then my game started to get sharper. And what we did is we kind of identified, where am I losing strokes? What part of your game, if you were to look at the last couple tournaments, what is the consistent pattern that you keep seeing? And so, I mean, we started to work on my wedge game. That was one of the areas that we improved on. 100 yards and in. And I kind of think to myself now, I'm like, dang, why didn't I do that as a junior golfer? That would have saved me so many strokes. But I got real precise in that and it started saving me strokes. And then we started working on, you know, some of my normal tendencies, which would be to compress the ball instead of scoop it. And it was just doing the right drills. And again, quality, not quantity drills. And I think just the ability to change and adapt to different courses. So what we would do is we'd fly to a tournament 2 days before, and then we'd get one practice round, and then we'd play the next day. So in that one practice round, you have to be able to learn the course, adjust to the grass, adjust to the altitude and all that kind of things, all those things. And I think that made me a little bit quicker in adapting and just makes you sharper.
Yes.
And so that's one of the biggest differences with high school and college.
That's crazy and that's the thing with anything, right? Is that there's so many things that you can improve on. And I think golf is kind of the perfect like microcosm of just life because you'll never ever master it, but there's always ways that you can get better at it. Yeah. So I think when you started to get a little bit more focused with the coaching, meaning that, I mean, both coaches were probably high quality coaches, right? Right. But just like with training too, there's different ways to achieve the same result. So you want to have that consistency with the instruction, with what you're practicing, how you're training for golf, or how you're training just for your sport in general, and make sure that, you know, it's not conflicting information. Right. So I think once you started to just listen to one side and the coaches that were seeing you play, you know, consistently throughout the year or two, I think that probably helped a lot. Now, on that note, talk about the schedule of traveling, what it's like to actually, because if you're on the road, I don't think many athletes understand how difficult it is to just adjust to different, not only environments, but even
the wear and tear on your body, the wear and tear on your body, the time change and all that.
The time change, just 1 to 2 hour difference in time change too, and you're doing that almost weekly. Right. That's a huge toll on your body, and people don't realize that. But talk about all of that experience in college, like traveling all over and being able to perform consistently.
I mean, thankful that we had like a chiropractor and a nutritionist and all these other people helping on that side and a trainer when we got injured. So that was always there, the support that we needed. And, you know, in addition to traveling, we also have school stress. So it'd be like, oh no, I have to take this exam on the road, or oh crap, I have to take this exam when I get back and I didn't study it, or I didn't finish my homework because I was on the course playing. I think it's just something that you get used to and you kind of just learn, again, time management, what is important, what comes first. And And everyone's different, you know, in terms of how they manage their time. But for me, I thought I just managed it well. There were times though when I remember getting back from trips and we get back at 11 o'clock at night and it's like, oh, you've got 8 a.m. class tomorrow. I would be so tired. I mean, at that point, but I mean, it's just, you just keep going.
You just figure out how to get it done.
You just do it.
Yes.
Yep. If you need a little bit of caffeine, that's fine. Go get your coffee and get it going. But I mean, you can't. Failure and giving up isn't really an option.
Yes.
So, I mean, you just find a way.
I think that's been instilled in you all throughout childhood and you know, all of the training and everything that you were doing too. Let's talk briefly before we get into your pro career and what you're doing now. What was your major at Colorado?
I did advertising and business.
Got it. And do you think that was an added challenge to your golf schedule? I think more so than normal.
So before I chose my major, for sure, I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, okay, Britt, first of all, you don't want to kill yourself with all these classes, and you know you're going to be missing class, but you also want to make sure you're doing something that you're interested in and that, you know, can actually help you maybe after golf or even with golf. So I thought, what better pairing than advertising, marketing, business to kind of learn how to market myself, per se. It was challenging, but it wasn't like, you know, engineering challenging, right? So, I mean, that's kind of how I chose that.
That's really huge, especially in your business and your profession, like being able to market yourself and, you know, create a good brand around what you represent. Right. I definitely think you do that. So to be completely honest, this is the first time that we've actually sat down and talked face to face. Right. But it's kind of ironic because, well, every guest interview, there's a lot of things that I can relate to, but I feel like there's ironically or like uncannily a lot of things that we can relate to together. Because so those of you that know me, before I was an athletic trainer, I actually my undergrad is in business marketing. So that's where, again, it was like a major that I thought, this will be versatile. Right. But then kind of similar to you, right? It was a degree that you're definitely proud of, you worked hard with, but now you're applying it to a different means, applying it to your professional career. Right. So that's something that for all of the student athletes out there, definitely pick something that you're interested in, but something that you can apply to whatever you're going to do, even if it's not in the same field. Because you wouldn't say like being an actual player on the professional tour is going to be marketing, but in a sense you'll use a lot of the lessons that you've learned through your education to apply it to your career.